how he catches the ball, and then his, what he does after he catches it. And he's learning the offense still right now, so we're in that process. But and I don't want to be able to talk about everybody, but yeah, we know we've got weapons and where we got to distribute the football, and now we're installing the offense. It's going to take some time to get that finished, and I call it like building a toolbox. You build a toolbox, and then you can pull from that toolbox to be able to go do different jobs. And if you're going to do a plumbing job, you don't need a circular saw. So there's different things as far as plays go that we'll use against different defenses, and we're going to continue to build that toolbox right now and install the offense. And like tomorrow is going to be a big third down day. So we're going to be working on our third downs, which is our money down, and that's, we got to be able to convert and keep us on the field and do all the things necessary. And then the next day is going to be red zone before we go into our first scrimmage.
The process of improvement is never a straight line. So in working with John Rhys, was there a point where you could see, now he's getting this point, or making his motion has gotten to where you want it to be? Anything of that nature?
Well, it wasn't as much as motion. He has a very good motion. It was his footwork and what he was thinking in the pocket and his movements in the pocket, and the fact that he took all the information that was given to him of why or how he can improve and why he needs to improve to be to have a go, because he has the ability to go play in the NFL. But if you're gonna go play in the NFL, you can't do what you did last year. So this is how you can become an NFL quarterback and be very consistent doing it. And he took all that information, and now he understands what he's doing with his footwork. He's understanding what he's doing, what it's supposed to look like. We're not looking at pass rushers. We understand where the slide side is. We understand where the bob side is. We understand, our protection schemes and all that. But you got to be looking downfield. And there was too much of, okay, I'm looking at one guy and then I'm gonna run, or I'm gonna start to see what, and his head was going too much side to side, where instead of going in progression and understanding why he's going into progression, and understanding coverages, and understanding why the defense is doing this, and this is what you got to take advantage of in these situations. And he's taken all that information, and now he's into that point right now where he's like, this is fun, and he's playing quarterback, and now he's getting better at that and mastering it, as well as all the leadership that comes with it, which he's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever coached as far as leadership goes and quality on human being and who he is.
John Rhys doesn't ever seem to lack for command or confidence, but have you seen it grow over this process?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt the first day of spring ball, in after practice, he knew it was not good. It was not a good day, and there was a lot of feeling. And I said, look, this is just day one. This is just day one, and we've put in the work since January, and here we are, and we started in March. And I said, but this is day one, and you have to build it daily and invest daily in yourself. And I said, the final product doesn't have to be until we start the season on August 31st. That's the good news, okay? So we have time, but we got to go and continue to invest in ourselves as we go through this, and don't be frustrated with the process. It's a process. To play quarterback is the hardest position there is, and you can see the NFL messes up a lot of times in who they choose and what they do and who they pick to be their quarterbacks, and it's hard. But he has literally worked his tail off to get to this point where he is right now, and I'm very excited where he is. And there's a certain point where now it's like, okay, the other day in the meeting room, I said, I want you to run the meeting. You run the meeting, and he ran the meeting, and it was pretty cool. And Coach Malzahn and I talked about it, and I said, look, I'm going to have him run the meeting with the wide receivers and the tight ends and the running backs in there, and go over what the offense is supposed to do. And so those things now are starting to happen with that confidence growing, and now he's starting to take off a little bit more with that. So we're going to take it one day at a time.
Have you ever done that before?
I have, and you like to prep people to do that, but he has that natural, he wants to do it. I went to the Saints one time and I was there with Drew Brees, and to watch him run a meeting. And I explained to my quarterbacks, like, that's what I'd like to do, is be able to sit here with my legs crossed and go like this and just watch the screen and you run the meeting. And so, I said, hey, John Rhys, run the meeting. And he did a very good job. And but no, I haven't done it a whole lot. There's a lot of quarterbacks, there's no way I would let them run the meeting. They can't do it. But he did a good job. He did a very good job.
What have you seen from the offense as a whole? You installing new things and just a whole, them having a new voice feeding into them all.
I think the biggest thing is we went out in day one and we put in all our work all summer, and we can only be with them a certain amount of time, and there is the standards and discipline, attitude, toughness, and effort that has to be established for us to be able to go win. Okay, the plays don't win. It's playing together, being unselfish, and again, being able to understand that there's a standard on how we do things. And we went from day one, and I went and showed them practice, and there was a lot of disappointing things happening. But the one thing that I love about this offense is they all responded day two. The wide receivers, the running backs, the tight ends. The O-line is Coach Hand does a very, very good job with them. And they all responded day two. And I said, this isn't our standard. I said, Coach Malzahn came in the first day on Sunday and said, we have to raise our standards and demand of ourselves where we need to be. And he's exactly right. Without those standards, if you're going like this with your standards, you're not going to be very good. No matter, you can have some plays work here and there and all that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, your standards have got to be up here. And what we've done every day so far in 3 practices is raise our standard. So, and now they're getting, we're not there yet, we're almost there, but they're all getting it. Like, okay, like this is what we're doing, and it's exciting.
Over the summer, Shane and I dug up some old video of you playing quarterback here in the archives, and just thinking back on your playing days, I know you think back fondly of those times, just 30 years later now, just how special is it to see this program where it is and getting ready to go into the Power 5?
Yeah, and again, we're sitting right here, these were all trees, and this was all woods, and none of this was here, and we were over at the old Wayne Dench building, and at the time, we were very proud of it and excited about it. Now, we had different colored carpet in different rooms, and some of the weights were going while we had meetings. I mean, because we had limited space, all those things, but we didn't care. We loved UCF. That's why we picked the school. We love Orlando. And we went and said, and we had great coaches. We really did. And, Mike Krzyk was incredible for me to learn under. And you go back to those days and all the grind and everything that we put into the program at that time. And then I look to where it is today, and I'm just really, really proud. And all the people and all the alumni and boosters and everybody that's invested in this program for the last 30 years to get it to where we're going into the Big 12. And I'm extremely proud. And it's personal for me. It's personal because I know what the expectations, everybody wants to continue to climb. And there's a lot of people who are like, man, we got the hardest schedule, we got hard road trips, we got all these things that are in front of us, and I don't think of it like that. I think of it like, we have a standard at UCF, and we're Knights, and this is what we do, and we're going to accept the challenge, and it's going to be a challenge, and we're excited about it, and we're ready to go, and again, day 4 is tomorrow.
So in your playing days, where did you kind of foresee this program way down the road? When we knew that we were going to be going into Division I, and that's why, we all chose the school. And we knew this program was going to go in Division I. We didn't know exactly what time and we didn't know what conference. We didn't know all those things. We just knew that this place was a place where we could come and impact the school. And everyone I played with and all the players that I played with, they all picked the school for the same reason. And there was a lot of great players that came out of those classes in the early 90s and in the 80s, in the late 80s and the early 90s. And
that led into what UCF did in starting from 2000 on, and then all the way to where we are today.
Yeah. I was just thinking, as a player, you can only see maybe so far in advance. I'm guessing Big 12 never came on your players' radar or anything.
No, we didn't think back then about okay, what conference are we going to? We were just excited to go play football and go win and do it together. And as a player, you don't really think about that as much. We were hoping at that time that we were like, yeah, let's go play the top teams in the country. That's what we think. And I remember when Gene McDowell came down the hall and said Nebraska had called, and he said, I think we're going to play Nebraska, by God, and I was like, man, Nebraska, how cool is that? And sure enough, Dante got to play against Nebraska. I didn't, but after me, Dante was right after me, and sure enough, we played Nebraska, and we almost beat them. So, but that was where the program was heading, and it was exciting to see.